pumped. Straight up the rig. Here's that crate in front of us. Get warmer.
No, I don't even know if that's accurate, to be honest. I'm with Ben. I'm pretty sure it just said somewhere in the 40s every single day.
Ford and his phenomenal old pal, Wheel. I just need to be a little patient here and wait for him before I'm gonna make a mistake. It's the last morning of elk season, archery elk season, and this trip so far has started way down low, then slowly gotten better. We got up to this high point close to where we heard the bull last night. This is the earliest we've been in, highest up we've been this early. He bugled down in this valley at 9:30 yesterday. That's the first time we heard him. Looped around him, got in tight at about 3, sat there, and he bugled about 5:15, moved in, and he eventually just stopped bugling. Seemed like maybe when an owl took off and broke a big branch, that's what messed him up, but we don't know. Could have been us, could have been anything. Could have been another hunter that we didn't know existed. I mean, there's endless options, but he's been in here since we first got here a couple days ago. We figure from this high point we can hear him, and then once we hear him, we're just gonna start cutting distance. We might call him more today, as long as we didn't bump him out of there. I think they'll be right back in there. Let's hunt. God, I'm pumped. I'm wondering how exactly we should go about this now. I'm trying to think and anticipate wind direction here. Now that we know he's in here, so we could make the big loop, get underneath of him, but that's gonna take a lot of time. I think he's gonna end up bedding somewhere in this bowl where I saw the cow. If our line in on him is like that, I think that's something we can pull off. I think yesterday he was about in here, and he's doing it for a reason. It's a hell of a spot to get into. It's tricky. The thing about thermals is it's just a lot of anticipating. That don't sound like squirrel. Bears. It really could be the bear scratching a tree, or a buck or a bull rubbing a tree. Dadgummit. Last night you had been like, if the clouds burn off and it becomes sunny, it's gonna do this. I mean, we know that's true. I think from here we're safe. We maybe just chill here for a little bit. I think so. Well, great news. He finally bugled again. I think the wind's good now. The clouds kind of finally moved off. That was concerning me because the predominant wind is coming this direction. But the thermals that are kind of making an angle up the hill this way. But then when those clouds would roll in, it would just start cutting back down the mountain. A little stressful. But he bugled, and I mean, I don't even think that he's that dang far up in there. Still probably, 300 yards, but basically right where we left him last night. It feels good. I think now that we know he's in there, we can just take all the time we need. As long as the wind's good, I think we got a legit chance. We've got so many hours of daylight left. Kind of the goal today is to slide in there and build up a scene, like bee cows moving around, then maybe start ramping it up and bugling if we need to. But either way, if we get in there and we start rattling things up, it's gonna get pretty wild, whether we get him or not. But I think we got a dang good chance. If we start angling and he's just barely up above us, he's gonna have an angle on us even if we start calling to him. I feel like if we can go and try to be right on his level, which I feel like his level is just barely up on this hillside. The season's just been getting better here, and today's gonna be the very peak of it, the last day, September 30th. I got a feeling. It's killing, boy. Low and slow. It's an old stalker trick, you know. I do think the majority of it's going that direction. I still think we should try to hug it and try to get up higher. He's making it hard on us. If he bugles even every 20 minutes, we got a way better opportunity at him. If we start to feel like we're in danger zone with wind, then I'll start pumping the brakes. Wind would have to just be consistently ripping down there for him to get us. All we can do is just play what we know is going to be true, and that's generally, it's coming south and up. I think we just slowly go up a little bit more and then probably just wait for a bit. That sounded higher up. That one sounded like it was up here. Really? Yeah. I thought it was up here. I definitely think now go up here. Just get up in this oak brush and just take that trail up and then reevaluate. Yeah. not good. It's just doing everything. I feel it at my neck and then it's in my face. It's kind of me like that last vehicle was like right here, don't you think? Straight up the rig. Don't really love where we're at. I like that better. I feel like generally speaking the wind's kicking that way more than anything. If we can get just downhill of that, and if it comes through here, we got a good shot at it. Yeah. Option 1, we slide down to that pine tree. Option 2, we go back through there, drop on the backside of that and go up. The wind is just like into that pine tree. And I think the wind is in the shades of white drop. I think it is, generally speaking, like, it's weirdly enough, it's going. We can also just go straight up this edge and get a little bit further up. We're just in the sun. She's coming. Here's that right in front of us. second shot. Did you see that? I don't know what happened. It literally went and stuck 60 feet in the tree. Do you still see him?
No, he like slowly walked that way.
I don't know about it. I don't feel good by any means.
I mean, that first shot was what, 10 yards?
It wasn't very far. It didn't sound right though. I see him, I think. Yeah, I see him. Right here, step right here. Right on the crest. See him? Zoom in. Zoom in.
Is he walking?
I mean, it's kind of a situation now where, like, well, that's I don't know. I'd hate to push him if he's just gonna, like, die. Right. I don't know where the shot hit him, though. I wouldn't have taken the second shot if I knew I barely nicked him, too. But he definitely didn't know what happened. No, I mean, I almost got shots multiple times. I stepped over him.
Do you want to watch it quick?
I feel like that's the only way I'm gonna know what happened.
I don't understand that sound.
I never can tell anything about it when he's wrong with it. I mean, it's not as good as what we think because he's not dead. It didn't sound right. My concern is that it just nicks him. If I just nicked him and it's non-lethal and he's just confused walking around up there, then I don't want to go slinging arrows at him if I mean, I already tried a follow-up shot and something went terribly wrong and my string must have been hooked on something I sent one way up. Did you film that? The bolt was here and the arrow literally hit like, I mean, the arrow went up and out.
You want to just check for the arrow quick?
Yeah, probably. It seems like the arrow might have went through and we can't find it. I've measured it. He's like 180 yards from where we shot him is where we last saw him standing there. We're less than a mile actually from the truck. So we're gonna haul it, get to the truck, watch it really quick, get a better idea of what happened and make it back here to try to make a final stalk if we need to. We're gonna learn from it regardless, so we gotta go back to the truck and try to start that process because right now we got nothing. It's been about 20-25 minutes. Not bad. I didn't actually drive up to the trailhead because I didn't want to spook elk if they were close. I shot through brush. I knew I was shooting through brush, but I also knew it was really close. But I'm not so sure I didn't just pull the shot too low. So that's my biggest concern right now is that it's just too low. Just gotta watch it and see what we can learn here. Also, it might rain, so that's kind of stressful. Dang.
You can see the arrow. Go frame by frame. There's the arrow right there. You couldn't tell when I filmed him when you shot him the second time?
I don't think so. He doesn't look as messed up as I'd maybe thought at one point. The only thing, like you said, is could it deflect where it's like not far enough back? Like it's too forward potentially.
I wonder if he just shot him in the brisket.
That's what I'm just thinking. It might have just barely hit the front of it, which we're gonna know that pretty quickly. Or like we said, maybe it went straight through and is just so low that when he's in the footage when we're watching it, you can't see any exit. I'm trying to keep some amount of hope. I definitely wish I would have hit him higher. We really just can't tell much. My initial instinct was that it didn't hit him hard. And then after watching it a bunch, it's like maybe it didn't. We never see an exit and that's concerning. If we saw an exit from the angle that I had my pin on, I'd feel good about it. But The brush might have just affected it enough. And I knew I was shooting through some brush, but I just don't know what it did to the arrow, and we can't tell from the footage. So we're gonna have to just go investigate a little bit further. The good thing is we got beads on like where he was standing multiple times. So we should be able to make a line on that and at least get to those spots and see if there's blood. And that may tell us a lot. Ideally we find the arrow, but for now we're just gonna start hiking in and then see what we can learn. It sucks. I feel pretty disappointed, but all we can do is keep doing our best here before the day's over, because we can't shoot him again tomorrow, so we gotta try to make the most of today. Let's do it.
I just go slow where he stood when you shot him.
I think so. You go try to stand close to where I was and try to line me up to where he was. So I found blood. It doesn't look great. It looks pretty meat-like at this point. Dried and red, like meat. I don't feel really good about it at all. That's very red. At some point I may have you go back to where I shot from and line me up there. Some more dried up on this log too, and then on this log up here. A little bit more like on that little leaf right there. Looking good. Sorry to the bull. I'm sorry for making a bad shot. I feel like I should be doing better. We want to show you guys that mistakes happen, and hopefully you can learn from our mistakes as well and minimize the amount of times that you got to go through this, because it's tough. I'm going to beat myself up for a long time. I'm going to keep trying to look, but it's not looking good. As of right now, I definitely don't think that he's hit hard at all. I'm just walking these trails that I think he might have been on, seeing if I can cut blood. My hope is straight up zero. Like, he's not dead. Based off what we know, what we guessed from watching the shot, his reaction, and the blood, he's probably just nicked him.
I'm pretty confident. Just went through the brisket or just clipped the bottom of him.
My initial reaction was that it didn't hit him very hard. It like clipped him. Based off all the signs since, that seems to be true. And the fact that it's already pimpled out makes me think that his hide just ate it up, and it's no different than a tine poking him. Like he's probably just laying with the cows right now. Just go look and just make sure that there's all of a sudden that nothing crazy happens with the blood. And then I'll just keep working up through here, you know, kind of back and forth on this ridge where we last saw him to see if I can cut anything. Sorry, man.
It's all good.
Walking up and down this ridge where we last saw him, and I haven't seen anything. Cole's down where we found some blood where he stood, but it's just really, really not looking good. As far as blood goes, I mean, really minimal.
I had it for like 15 yards.
Yeah, and I feel like I realize now that he was much more alert after the shot. I think what happened is it just hit him in the brisket, and that's kind of what Cole was leaning towards when we were watching at the truck. As soon as I saw blood, it was like, that's probably what happened. We're gonna walk through what we could have done differently. When we were first here, the sun was hitting this whole spot, which is just an elk bed. I feel like we both felt that this was gonna ultimately funnel him this way, anticipating that the shot was always gonna be there. What we should have done is just taken a step back. So instead of us being here, as soon as he started to commit, I think if Cole would have stepped back there, and I would have just got here, we could have still anticipated that shot being right there. The difference is my bow's over all that junk, and the shot is much more likely to not get deflected, which what I chose to do was hunker back this direction to try to get out of the middle of the bed. My thought was at the time there was hot light back here, and there was shade back here. I thought if I can just tuck up against this brush as he wraps around there, I'll use that as cover. Well, ultimately, that's what messed me up, I think. I think brush hit my arrow right out of the bow. As I'm looking at it now, I think I probably hit this stuff even right here, right out of the gate. So I wish I would have just stayed standing. I think in most situations, if you got brush like this, standing is going to be a better option. I tried to take a second shot and failed miserably. I think what happened is something hooked onto my either wrist or my cam, but the shot wasn't right. Covered a lot of trails looking for more blood, looking for him, but I really don't believe that arrow hit anything other than a little bit of meat on him. But it's going to be a tough off elk season. A lot of days to think about all the little things that went wrong, but to try to think of the positives here. Got to go with my buddies. Had a blast. I'm really proud of Cole and just like his attitude, really. I feel like that's something that I could never do a good enough job explaining to those watching. It's like Cole managed to just always keep my attitude going up all the way to the very end. And that helped us ultimately get on a bull on the last day. And a place that I never would have dreamed that we were gonna hunt. So just gonna have to, I don't know, how do you end this? Pretty much a month of elk hunting and this is it. Just, I don't know, I love it. Happy to be able to go. Tough.
Yeah, I mean, everything came together. Just got better and better each day.
Well, that was a tough one to edit. Reliving that was not something that I was looking forward to, and with every situation, I think it's important to try to see the positives. And last year, the positive was that I was able to go because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to. Earlier that year, I'd hurt my knee skiing and had surgery, and from the time I had surgery until elk season started, I worked really hard rehabbing my knee to be able to go elk hunting. That was like the number one priority all year long. And I know this probably sounds like an excuse, but last year when I was hunting, I just didn't really feel like myself. Just being in some of those positions that I typically get into with ease, I was struggling a little bit. When I was shooting my bow a lot last summer, I was just going out, standing and shooting. I wasn't really practicing hunting-like scenarios. And going into this summer, I thought, I could say, my knee hurts. I'm not gonna practice that way. But instead, I decided my knee's gonna hurt. I'm gonna practice to make sure that I don't get myself into a situation like this again, or at least try my best not to. So this off season, I worked really hard to get in better shape, and I've also practiced some new things when shooting my bow, forcing myself into uncomfortable situations because I know ultimately that's where I'm gonna be a lot of the fall. So rather than making excuses, I just forced myself to do it, and because of that, I feel way more confident going into this season. My goal with this isn't to make up for what happened in this video. I'm still extremely disappointed in myself, and I do think that that's pretty unacceptable. I want to help other people that may be in a similar situation. It can be easy to be like, man, this hurts. I can't do some of the things that I used to be able to do and just kind of call it quits. I still have knee pain. I'd rather live through a little bit of pain than not be able to do the things that I love, and I love going hunting. I just want to make sure that I'm always doing everything I can to try to improve. Thank you guys for watching this year's elk videos. They're definitely something that we're really proud of. Up next, we got the deer tour starting. It's actually opening day as I'm filming this, so I know that the guys are already in action, so appreciate you guys watching. See you on the next one.